And it's like, even the greatest quarterbacks, Russell Wilson hasn't been back. And by and large, Seattle, I know not as much now, but Drew Brees. So you look at the greatest quarterbacks of the past 20 years, not named Tom Brady, that by and large usually had really good teams that made the playoffs year in and year out, and they couldn't even make it even back to the Super Bowl. I'm not even talking about winning. They just had really hard times. Now, yes, Tom Brady played a large part in that in regards to like Manning and some of these other people, but he was in the AFC. So what does that say for Rodgers? What does that say for Breeze? What does that say for for Russell Wilson? So that's where, just in general, even if the Bills had won this year, it's just, and you hear players and coaches say it, and it's true. It is so hard to win, and not just win games and win divisions. It is so hard to get to the Super Bowl and win it. And that's why, like, I really appreciate what the Rams have done. They're like, I don't need to look at a 5-6 year window with all of these first year picks, because even if I follow this traditional pattern of building a team, that doesn't guarantee that I'm going to even have an opportunity to get to this game year in and year out. So just let's push all of our chips in the middle, say screw the first round picks. I don't need to wait a year or two or guess that this guy at pick 25 or this guy at 29 is going to be good. I know what Jalen Ramsey is. I know what Von Miller is. I know what Matthew Stafford is. Don't listen to Matt Parrino about it. But like, I know who these guys. I know who these guys are. I don't know for sure what they are. That's why when people are like, oh, Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson are the same. I don't care if Justin Jefferson's cheaper and productive for where the Bills were and where the Bills are. And in that situation, taking what you know about Stephon Diggs, of what you might have out of a Justin Jefferson or someone else, the Bills made the right decision. And just to go overall, you don't know, even when they bring the entire team back from a year ago that made the AFC Championship game, they didn't make it any farther. And you don't know, as good as Josh could be an MVP candidate for the next 10 years, who knows, even with that, if they'll ever have this opportunity again.
Just something quick before we move on. I want to get this in. Part of what's made the Rams, it's not Stafford related. We don't have to cover that. Part of what's made the Rams play in all of this and how they built it, what Les Snead has done out there, is it's almost been a vote of confidence for Sean McVay. Like, we're going to get Sean McVay a bunch of pieces, right? Defensively, but more so offensively. Odell Beckham Jr., Matthew Stafford. They went out and traded guys for him. Who's Brandon Beane going to do that for Sean McDermott? He all he talks about is like the 111th and like not valuing the one guy. Whereas I feel like Sean McVay got to the point where he's like, yeah, get me a good quarterback because Jared Goff stinks. Like, when are we going to get to the point where Sean McDermott gets a game-changing elite pass rusher? Because guess what? Respect the process. I respect the rotation. You need one. I think that's something that we figured out at this point. So if they continue to neglect that, that also gives me even greater questions about the potential of this regime to win a Super Bowl.